All right. Hey guys, how are you? We got the Mets versus the Orioles, a replay of the 1969 World Series. It's in Baltimore, and the pitching matchups are Tom Seaver and Mike Cuellar, both A pitchers. Cuellar has a little bit better control than Seaver does, but Seaver has a little bit more strikeout potential. So we're going to see what happens. It should move along pretty quickly since there weren't all that many pitching changes at this point, and we have two A pitchers. But it wouldn't be the first time that the grounds crew are putting up the foul poles, and we're ready to roll. So up for the Mets to start the game off is Tommy Agee, Bud Harrelson, and then Cleon Jones. I think this is the first time I'm playing, or the second time I'm playing with these teams, so I don't really know that much about them. So I'm going to learn as I go. It's a 44, and on AG's card, it's an 8. An 8 against an A pitcher is going to be a single but modified to pop up to third base. Buddy Harrelson is next. Let's say 36. A 36 on Harrison's card is a 12. And that's going to be a ground ball, a 5-3. I did not add up the numbers for the defense for the Orioles, so I'll do that quickly now. 4, 6, 8, 14, 20, 28, 37, 38. So they don't make it to an A infield, although they have a couple of positions that are pretty high up there in terms of the fielding standard, like a Brooks Robinson at a 6 and a Mark Bellinger at a 9. I have seen him later on at a 10. So, but in this year, in 69, he's a 9. Okay, so there's two away in the top of the first, and we have Cleon Jones. It's a 15. Cleon Jones is a somewhat of a speedster, and he had 16 stolen bases. And he's going to get on base with a single, and he's going to steal second right away. So that's going to put a runner in scoring position for Don Clendenin, who hit 16 home runs and 331 at bats in 1969 and batted .248. So it's going to be a 43 as a 29 with a runner on second. And that's going to be a ground ball to the first baseman, and Cuellar is going to cover, and that's the third out of the inning. No runs on one hit, and we go to the bottom of the first inning. And Don Buford, Paul Blair, and Frank Robinson. It's a 64 for Don Buford is a 14, and that's going to be a walk. Paul Blair, a 42 is a strikeout. Frank Robinson has some decent home run numbers on his card. I don't know if you can see that. He hit 32 home runs, so that's quite a good number of round trippers. So he's going to be dangerous in this series for sure. Now, I've been very impressed by the quality of the Orioles pitching staff. It's a mind-boggling with so many A's and C's going on. Boog Powell, first baseman, hit 37 home runs for the Orioles in that year, and drove in 121 RBIs. That's a 31-9 with a runner on first and 2 outs against an A pitcher. Is going to be a single. He beats out an infield hit. I don't know if he got many of those in his career. Infield hit. He only had one stolen base, but in this case, he gets on base on an infield hit. So now you have Brooks Robinson, who hit 23 home runs, and batted .234. And that's going to be a 21, which is a 30, which is a fly ball to left field, and that's going to end the inning. So the Orioles get no runs on one hit. And top of the second, Mets are coming up to bat. And it's 0-0. It's going to be Ron Swoboda. Ron Swoboda batted .235 in that season and about 327 at bats. And not a very good fielder. He's a 1 in right field. I don't know how many people he's going to be throwing out. It's a strikeout. That's the first strikeout for Cuellar. That's a 66 for Charles. I don't know if you can see that. And that's going to be a 0, and that's going to bring us to roll on the second column. And it's at a 56, and that's going to be a double. So the third baseman, Ed Charles, who batted .207 in 169 at bats, he hits a double, and he's at second base with 1 out. Jerry Grody, the catcher, 27. And that's going to be a strikeout for Cuellar. And now you're going to have Weiss. He's going to bat. And you know what? We're not going to walk him at all to get to the pitcher at this point. It's only the top of the second inning in a 0-0 game. No need to do that. Let's not get carried away. And it's a 34. 34 is going to be a pop-up to the second baseman, Davy Johnson, and that's all for the Mets in the top of the second inning. No runs on one hit, the double by Ed Charles. Going to the bottom of the second inning. Here we have Elrod Hendricks, and that's a 33, and on his card it's a 7, so he hits a single. And he's a slow runner, so he's going to be playing it safe. Davy Johnson rocks an 11, and that's going to be a 0, and that's going to get us to roll on the second column. It's a 46, it's a double. So Elrod's going to stop at third, and Johnson gets a double. So they're second and third. Mark Bellinger. And that's a 35, which is a 9. Let's see what that is against an A pitcher. So second and third, a 9 is going to be a sacrifice fly. If we're holding Elrod, going to be a fly out to right field, so he's not going to come in on that. It's a slow runner, and I hold those. And Cuellar's up. See what Cuellar can do. A 36 is a 33 with second and third. It's going to be a fly ball to right field. Again, they're going to hold up Hendricks. Just doesn't have the speed to do that. It'd have to be a real deep fly ball. But I do have that house rule where I do hold the slow runners. Okay, so with 2 out now, it's Don Buford. And that's going to be 26 at 27. And Charles is a 4. That's going to be a ground ball to third base, over to first. And that's 3 outs. So the Mets get out of trouble. They had a potential, the Orioles had a potential to score a run, but because the catcher is a slow runner, he wasn't able to make it home. So that's going to be the end of 2 innings. The Orioles get no runs on 2 hits. And we go to the top of the third. Tommy Agee, 27. I'm sorry, it's the pitcher, Tom Seaver, also at 52 is a 27 on his card. And that's going to be a ground ball to third base, over to first, and 1 away. A Harrelson hits a 1-hopper to second base. And the second baseman, Davy Johnson, throws over to Boog Powell at first for the second out. And Cleon Jones, that's a 0. So we're going to roll on the second column. 11 is a 0. And on the second column, it's a 20. It's a 6, which is a double. So I have Harrelson up. And it's still a 0. And then a 23 is a 6. So it is double. And then we have Jones right after that. So 2 out. And a Buddy Harrelson's a second base with a double. Cleon Jones the batter. And that's going to be an 8 with a runner on second, and that's going to be an out for sure against an A pitcher, and it is. It's a ground ball to third base. The third baseman, Brooks Robinson, throws over to the first baseman, Boog Powell, for out number 3. And the Mets have leave a runner on with a double, and they had no runs on 1 hit. Bottom of the third coming up. We're moving along here. Paul Blair, Frank Robinson, and Boog Powell. 32 is a 26. That's a ground ball. A ground ball to Weiss. Weiss over to Clendenin. Went away. Frankie Robinson's up. 13 is a walk. It's the second walk given up by Seaver. So far he's given up 3 hits, and this is his second walk in 3 innings. So 1 out, runner on first, and that's a 33-0 on Boog Powell's card. And remember, he hit 37 home runs. We'll see what happens here. 25, it's going to be a double. And we'll look at Frank Robinson's fast. So he will, I believe he will score. Let me double check that. A 6, F scores, so he scores on that double by Boog Powell. So Boog Powell gets an RBI, and he's at second base. It's not easy to score runs against Seaver. Brooks Robinson, 21, fly ball to left field. And Elrod Hendricks, who singled last time up. There's 2 outs, runner on second. Elrod the batter. 63 is a fly ball right field. So the Orioles only get one run on a hit and a walk. And now they lead in the top of the 4th, 1-0. Clendenin, call him, his nickname here on the card is Clink. So it's Don Clendenin. A 24 is a 13. And that is the second strikeout for Cuellar, Mike Cuellar. He won a 23-game winner. A 9 against an A pitcher is a modified grounder to shortstop over to first. And Ed Charles is up again. Ed Charles hit a double. He was left stranded in the second inning. It's a 56, 34, which is going to be a strikeout for Cuellar. So that's his 3rd strikeout. Seems he's getting stronger as he goes. So it's the bottom of the 4th coming up. It's Davey Johnson, Mark Bellinger, and the pitcher Cuellar. So let's see, Davey Johnson against Seaver. See what he can do. It's a 25. It's an 8. An 8 against an A pitcher is a pop-up to the third baseman. Well, Bellinger is a 33, is a 7, so it's a single. He gets on. And Cuellar's up. And he's going to be bunting. That's a 53 at 13. I think that's just he fouls off the pitch. Yeah, it's a foul strike. So strike 1. A 13, strike 2. And you know what? He's going to hit away because I don't think... and that's going to be 33, which is an 8 against an 8 pitcher. And that's going to be a ground ball to the first baseman. First baseman over to the pitcher. And the runner moves over, so that's just as good as a bunt. And Buford's up now. 26 is a 27 with a runner on second. That's going to be a Ground ball to the third baseman over to first base for the third out of the inning. So the Orioles get no runs on one hit. After 4 innings of play, it's the Orioles 1 and the Mets zilch. Jerry Grody, the catcher, is up against Cuellar, 55. And that's going to be a pop-up to the third baseman again. Keeping the third baseman busy. Al Weiss, the second baseman, 31, is a 14. And that's going to be a walk. So we have a base runner. It's going to be a walk. If Cuellar had 2 Z's, it would not be. It would be 2 balls. So we have Tom Seaver batting. Look at what he looked like. Yeah, he didn't do very much batting. So we're going to try to see if we can bunt with him. This will be 24. They struck foul strike. 31. That's going to be a successful sacrifice. Yes, it is. So Seaver's going to actually succeed in moving Weiss over to second base. So now we have a fast runner at second base, and Tommy Agee with 2 outs, and Tommy Agee's the batter. See what happens. Oh, and that looks like Tommy Agee cranks one. Yeah, that's big. That's beautiful. That's over the wall. That's a 2-run shot for Tommy Agee. So back home, Mets fans are exhilarated at this point. So in the top of the 5th, the Mets come up with 2 runs on that home run, that 2-run homer to take the lead at 2-1. There's 2 outs, and Buddy Harrelson is the batter. And that's going to be a ground ball to Bellinger, and Bellinger over to Powell, and that's going to be the third out of the inning. But the damage has been done. 1 hit and 2 runs for the Mets in the top of the 5th, and they take the lead 2-1. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Paul Blair, Frank Robinson, and Boog Powell. 31 is a 9, and that's going to be a ground ball to shortstop. Harrelson over to Clendenin, 1 away. Frank Robinson. Maybe a fly ball to left field. And 2 outs. And here we go, Boog Powell. 66, and Boog strokes one. Game tied. Brooks Robinson, the batter. And that's going to be a 33, which is a pop-up to the second baseman. And that'll do it for the bottom of the 5th. The Orioles get 1 run on 1 hit, the Boog Powell home run. And they tie the game at 2, going to the top of the 6th. For the Mets, we're going to have Jones, Clendenin, and Swoboda. 36, that's going to be a 12, which is going to be a ground ball to third base, over to first, 1 away. A 56 is going to be a strikeout. That's the 4th strikeout for Cuellar. And Ron Swoboda, 22, is a pop-up to the third baseman. Both third basemen are keeping pretty busy with those pop-ups. Okay, so we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. That was no runs and no hits. They were retired. 1, 2, 3. They went out 1, 2, 3 in that top of the 6th. The Mets did. And we're going to go to the bottom of the 6th, and we're going to see Hendricks, Johnson, and Belanger in that bottom of the 6th inning. Let's say 26, which is a 29, is going to be a strikeout. Davey Johnson is up. Let's say 35. It's going to be a walk. So Seaver doesn't have the control that you'd expect him to have. Belanger, 61-39, and Davy Johnson is going to. He's going to try to steal, and he's going to get caught stealing 2-4. I let that happen in that Davy Johnson. I checked to see if he was a slow runner. Slow runner, I wouldn't try to steal, but with Johnson, I would do that. I would allow it to happen. And it's a 16 is a 28, a grounder to Buddy Harrelson. Harrelson over to Clendenin, and that's out number 3. So we had a runner who got on base on a walk, but he was caught stealing, and that's the end of the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a tie game at 2 apiece. So this is a pretty good game. Game 1 of the 1969 World Series replay. And then we have Ed Charles, who's basically doubled and struck out. And it's a 21. It's a fly ball to right field. And Frank Robinson gets under it. Jerry Grody. It's a pop-up to the catcher. Catcher calls for it, and he's in foul ground. He makes the catch. And that's 2 away. And the second baseman, Al Weiss. 43. It's a ground ball back to the pitcher. Cuellar over to first, and that's 1, 2, 3, and the end of the inning. He's retired 7 in a row at this point, so Cuellar is getting stronger as we go. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Cuellar is leading off. We're going to let him bat. .32 is a 26, which is a ground ball. A ground ball to Weiss. Weiss over to Clendenin, 1 away. Paul Blair, 53 is an 18. Harrelson's a 9 shortstop, and that's going to be an error. He's gonna muff that one, and that's surprising because Harrelson's a pretty darn good fielder. But it's an error. So there's a base runner, and he's a fast base runner. It's a center fielder. Paul Blair. He does have 11 on his cards. He had 20 stolen bases in that season. The base runner is Buford, rather. So we're going to go back, and we're going to double-check Buford's card. We jumped when the pitcher bats. I have the pitchers out on the field, so it's basically getting me to skip a batter that first... So I'm flipping the card, so I'm having to go back and check. So it's going to be a 15 on Buford's card. So we're going to have to go look and see. We may have a different result rather than the ground ball to shortstop, and we do. It's going to be a single to left field. So basically, the official score is going to take the error away, and they're going to give Buford a hit rather than an error. So it's going to be a single. Buford's on base. There's 1 out, and Paul Blair is the batter now. And I'm looking at Paul Blair's contact, and he's got 231, so I'm not going to let him hit and run. That's a 61. It's a fly ball to right field. And now with 2 out, you got Frank Robinson. Frank Robinson struck out in the 1st inning, walked in the 3rd inning, and flew out to left field in the 5th. Here he is in the 7th with 2 out and Buford at first. That's going to be 13, and that's going to be a walk. It's a 4th walk, I believe, given up by Seaver. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's the 4th walk, and you have 1st and 2nd, so you have a little trouble brewing here for the Mets in a 2-2 game in the bottom of the 7th. Boog Powell, who's got some pretty impressive power numbers, and hit a home run in his last at bat. He's actually 2 for 2. But Seaver, he's an A pitcher, so he should be able to handle him. And it's a 56, a 34, and that's going to be with 1st and 2nd. Let's see what that is. It's going to be a pop-up to the 3rd baseman. And Charles calls it, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. So they leave 2, no runs. They have one hit. And after 7 innings of play, the score is still 2-2. We have Tommy Agee. Tommy Agee. And Tommy Agee had 26 home runs. He's connected for one in this game. So he's the main power source for the Mets, I see, in this 60-19 team. He had almost played in 149 games and had 565 at-bats. Got a 271. And that's a 40, so what is that going to be? That's going to be a foul strike. Foul ball. But again, 34 is a fly ball center field. Buddy Harrelson. A 44 is going to be a pop-up to the third baseman, Brooks Robinson. And a 25 is an 8, which is another pop-up to the third baseman. So that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 10 batters, 10 Mets in a row. And that's the end of the... we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The score still tied 2-2. Both starting pitchers are in there. I think Cuellar's outdueling Seaver at this point. So let's see, Brooks Robinson, 33, and that's a 0. That's going to be a double column. So you're going to have to roll again for the second column. It's going to be a double. So Brooks Robinson is on second base with a double. And that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits given up in 8 innings by Seaver. So we're going to have some movement in the bullpen. Elrod Hendricks, 42 is a 22. 22 is going to be a runner steals third and a slow holes. So it's going to be a ball. And it's going to be a 24, a strikeout. 4th strikeout for Seaver. Davey Johnson hit 7 home runs, batted 280. And that's going to be a 44, and that's a 7. But it's going to be a single. But we're going to hold a slow runner, Brooks Robinson, at third. And we're going to go with it's first and third now, and it's Belanger, the shortstop, batting. And that's going to be it for Seaver. Let's see who we have here in the bullpen. Don't really know who we have in the bullpen. We got Taylor as a reliever, McGraw, Kuntz, and Nolan Ryan. I'm going to bring in a B pitcher, Taylor, who for this first batter, Taylor's going to be green. I color code all my relievers when they come in. It makes it easy for me to see and find how they did and so forth. So he's going to face Belanger, and that's going to be Taylor, who's a B. Taylor is a BZ, so he's got some control. And that's it. Let's see what happens. The Mets are going to bring the infield in with first and third. It's a 2-2 game, so they're going to bring the bottom of the 8th. So they're going to bring the infield in. And here goes Belanger. 61 is a 39. What is going on here? Davey Johnson. 39. Don't tell me. Orioles aren't going to be happy about this one. So they attempt a double steal, and the double steal fails. The runner on first and third, 39, runner at third out, 2-5, other to second, double steal fails. So, wait a second. First and third. Okay, so I guess they attempt to steal home. and he gets tagged out at third, I guess in a rundown sort of thing. And goodness, okay, so Johnson gets over to second, and Robinson is not going to steal. He's a slow runner, so he's definitely not going to be involved in a play of stealing home or anything of the sort. I play very safe with my slow runners. This is how I do it. And so I'm going to just call that a strike, and I'm going to move on. And we're going to get Belanger with another at bat, or continuing his at bat. It's a 52 at 27 with the infield in. 27. It's a ground ball to the third baseman. So the runner on first is going to advance to second. So we have second and third now. And we have Mike Cuellar is going to bat. But we're going to have to bring in a pinch hitter for Cuellar. And let's see what this is all about here. Who we have. And we have a Merv Rudmond. We got Ruford Salmon at a 297. So we're going to bring, he's a utility ball player. Hate to use him if I'm not going to keep him in the game. But have a 303 batter in Moten, Kurt Moten. So I'm going to go with Moten. Let's see what happens. So let's put him in for Cuellar. So Moten for Cuellar. Bottom of the 8th. I'm going to fill that box in with green because he's Taylor's facing him. There's 2 outs. There's second and third. This is huge right now. Buford actually batted 291 after him. Okay, so let's see what happens. Kurt Moten, pinch hitter. 51. It's a 9. Oh, goodness gracious. With second and third, a 9 on a B pitcher is going to be a fly. Second and third on a B pitcher is going to be a strikeout with 2 outs. Oh, goodness. I thought that was going to get through there. I should have brought in an A pitcher at that point, but I didn't. So that's the first strikeout for Taylor, and he gets out of that crisis barely. So in the bottom of the 8th, the Orioles get no runs. They did have 2 hits and left 2 runners in scoring position. So we go to the top of the 9th. We're going to need Pete Rickard is going to come in to pitch for the Orioles. Coloring him blue in there. See my blue pencil. And I'm going to write him in. We're going to color in the area in the scorecard where you write the pitchers' names. And now we're going to write the name on top of that. And he's an A pitcher, X, Y, and Z. So he's a tremendous, they have a tremendous pitching staff. Don't know how they lost to the Mets, to be honest with you. Okay, we're going to have Clendenin. I think it's Rickard, right? I believe that's how you pronounce it. He's a new pitcher. And we're going to have Clendenin, Swoboda, and Charles. Top of the 9th inning. Tie score, 2-2. Replay of the 1969 World Series Game 1. It's a 16 is a strikeout. Ronnie Swoboda. 53 is a 15. Let's see. 15 is going to be a first and second on an error by the left fielder. So Buford, not a very good left fielder, basically lets the ball get by him, rolls around in the corner, hits off his glove, and he throws it in. It's a two-base error. So now you have a Swoboda is average speed, so he'll be able to score on a single. Charles, 54, say 32, say fly ball to right field with 2 out now. Go ahead, run to second base, and it's Jerry Grody. 31 is a 9, with a runner on second against an A pitcher. I don't see that as being a hit. It's a modified runner, a shortstop, ground ball to shortstop over to first, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. So the Mets leave 1, no runs and no hits in that inning, and we're going to the bottom of the 9th, and it's 2-2. So Taylor's still in there for the Mets. Got out of some trouble in the bottom of the 8th inning when he came in with 1 out and 2 runners on. So we're going to have Buford batting. Say 35 is going to be 14. That's going to be a walk. So Paul Blair is going to sacrifice. So 32-26, and that's going to be a 26 is a successful sacrifice. So there's 1 away and a runner on second now. The game-winning run is at second base. You have Frank Robinson, who batted .308, and we're going to see a pitching change for the Mets. You have Taylor in there right now, but we're going to bring in Tug McGraw, I believe, is the highest-rated pitcher that the Mets have in their bullpen. He's even a beast starter, Tug McGraw, so he can start or he can relieve. So Tug is going to come in, and he's going to come in with a color red, because he is a closer type, and it's a critical situation. So I'm putting it in red at this point. I colored it in 3 boxes. I may not need that many. The game may be over by that point. So it's going to be Frank Robinson and Boog Powell, and let's write in McGraw. You got to believe McGraw. Tug, you got to believe. And he's an A pitcher and an X, so he has some strikeout potential. Okay, so Frank Robinson's up. And we're going to walk Robinson, intentionally walk him. We're going to roll. And we're going to have first and second now with 1 out. And it's going to be Boog Powell, who's 2 for 3. All right, let's see what happens. 21 is a 32, a fly ball to right field, 2 away. And it's Brooks Robinson. 31 is a 14, and that's going to be a walk. So 3 walks in the inning. And the bases are loaded for Elrod Hendricks. Say 21 is a strikeout. So Tug McGraw gets out of some trouble. And no runs and no hits in the bottom of the 9th. Go to the top of the 10th. Mets coming up to bat. We're going to have a double switch. And a new pitcher for Baltimore. Let's see who we're going to pull out of the bullpen, who's coming out. Hall. His nickname is Turkey, Richard Hall, or Dick Hall. And he's going to be, make him red as well. And he's an A pitcher, ZZ, so he's got some control. We're coloring in the boxes where he'll be pitching. That's going to have a pinch hitter for the pitcher in this inning. Okay, so it's Weiss is going to bat against Dick Hall. And he's an A and a ZZ. He's got his control down, that's for sure. All right, well, here goes. A 2-2 game in the top of the 10th inning. That's a 64 as a strikeout. 1 away, top of the 10th inning. And okay, we're going to have a pinch hitter. Let's see who that's going to be. Probably Ed Kranepool. Let's bring in Kranepool for McGraw. Top of the 10th. So that's going to be B. Let's see. It runs in 253 at bats. And his stroke a double. He's going to stroke a double to right center. So Ed Kranepool comes up big as a pinch hitter. He's going to be a slow runner, so he's going to get a pinch runner. And we're going to bring in Wayne Garrett to pinch run. So Garrett is going to run for Kranepool. He's a fast runner. And with a runner on second in scoring position, we're going to see Tommy Agee come to bat. And he's one of the top hitters on the Mets, 271 with 26 home runs. That's going to be 24, and that's going to be a strikeout. So there's 2 away. And Buddy Harrelson's going to bat. That's going to be a 55, an 8 against an A pitcher. Not much is going to come of it. It's going to be a ground ball to third. Brooks Robinson over to first. And that's going to be it. And that's going to leave a runner in scoring position. So no runs on 1 hit. And it's the bottom of the 10th inning. Still a 2-2 game. Mets are going to have to bring out a new reliever. And it's going to be Nolan Ryan, a C. A C with an X, Y, and a W. Not very much control, but he definitely has some strikeout power, some velocity. So Nolan Ryan. And we're going to keep, you know what, we're going to keep Garrett in the game as a shortstop. We're going to pull a double switch. And we're going to bring in Ryan. He's going to take Harrelson's spot. And we're going to lose a little fielding there. And we're going to leave Garrett at short. And that's what we're going to do there. Okay. And Harrison's going to come out. And Ryan's going to take Harrison's spot. So we won't see that spot in the lineup for a little while. Let's go to Davey Johnson, who is facing Nolan Ryan, who's going to be blue at this point. So we need him to give us a couple of good innings, see what happens. It's 13. He starts off showing us that he doesn't have very much control. He's going to walk Davey Johnson right away. We're going to have a quick bunt to get him over to second into scoring position. And that's Belanger's going to bunt. Let's see, should be a decent bunter. 23, what is that all about? It's a double play. It's a pop-up to the pitcher. Pitcher throws over to first, and they double up Davey Johnson. So right there, there's 2 outs and nobody on right now. And we have the pitcher spot. And we're going to bring in a pinch hitter for Hall. Bottom of the 10th. See who we got on the bench in the Baltimore bench. Redmond. I'm going to bring him in. There you go. And we're looking for another. We're going to bring in Dave Leonhard. All right. Let's see what happens here. Redmond. That's going to be 36, which is going to be a strikeout. So Ryan already notches a strikeout and showing off his velocity. So that's going to be no runs on no hits in the bottom of the 10th inning, going to the 11th inning, 2-2 game. New pitcher is going to be Leonhard for Baltimore. He's a B, and we're going to use yellow for him. And who we have coming up? We have Cleon Jones, Don Clendenin, and Ronnie Swoboda. 62 is going to be a 22. A 22 is a ground ball to the first baseman who flips over to Leonhard covering, and that is 1 away. Don Clendenin. 53, a 20. Davey Johnson is an A ground. It's going to be an error on Davey Johnson, allowing Don Clendenin to reach first base. Clendenin is fast, so they're going to have to keep an eye on him. Ronnie Swoboda, 46 is a 13, 2 away. And Ed Charles, 26, which is a fielder's choice, a 6-4 fielder's choice. And that'll do it for the Mets in the top of the 11th inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error. And it's the bottom of the 11th. It's going to be Don Buford facing Nolan Ryan. It's a 64. It's a walk. Buford has some pretty good walk numbers. His on-base percentage was almost 400. His batting average was 291. So Blair's going to sacrifice. 62 is going to be a 26, and that's going to be a successful sacrifice. He gets Buford over to second, so now you have the winning run in scoring position. Again, this is deja vu all over the place. We're going to walk Brooks Robinson. You roll the dice when you walk them. I don't know what that would have been, and I don't really care to look. Boog Powell with first and second. Nolan Ryan pitching, 35, is going to be a 9. Nolan Ryan's a 9, so a C pitcher. So that's going to be a ground ball to the third baseman, Charles, over to first. And the runners are both going to move up. So there's going to be runners on second and third. Winning run is 90 feet away, and Brooks Robinson is going to bat. You've got Brooks Robinson at 234. And here goes. That's a 56, second and third. 34, and that's going to be a pop-up to Garrett. Garrett's going to call for it, and that's going to be it. So there's 2 walks in that inning, and the Orioles strand 2, and we go to the top of the 12th inning. And we're going to we're in a 2-2 tie here in the top of the 12th inning. We have Grody, Weiss, and Garrett to bat in this inning against Leonhard. Let's bring him in so you can see his card. There you go. So the Mets have been in trouble so many times throughout this game, but somehow they've gotten out of every single jam. Let's go to the top of the 12th with Jerry Grody. We're going to have to change up the scorecard because and the way we kind of annotate the plays, change them a bit here because we're running out of space. So I have a way of, actually, you know what? I can use the boxes that for the at-bats, hits and runs and so on to continue. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll just use those boxes. All right, so Jerry Grody's going to bat. That's going to be a 45, and Grody is going to walk. So we're going to have a base runner right away. We're going to bunt with Weiss. And a 35 is going to be a 13. That's going to be a foul strike. We're going to try it again. 45 is going to be a 14. Let's see what that means. It may just be a ball. A 14, a base on balls. Oh, Z versus ZZ. And Leonhard has none of those. So there's going to be back-to-back walks. So first and second, Garrett is going to bat. And you know what? We're going to bunt. That's going to be 34-31. And that's going to be a successful bunt. From what I remember, 31. It is a successful bunt. So that's the sacrifice. And now you have the go-ahead run at third base in the form of Jerry Grody. And we have Tommy Agee coming to bat. And Agee's going to hit a ground ball. And that ground ball is not going to get those runners in. That's a ground ball to the pitcher. And the pitcher is going to look at the runner at third. He's going to hold him there, and he's going to throw over to first base. And those runners hold at second and third. Wow, so Agee really let us down. And Buddy Howson was in this spot, but Ryan is due up. And he's not going to bat in this situation. He's not going to bat in this situation. So we're going to bring in Art Shamsky. Art Shamsky's going to bat. Shamsky for Ryan, top 12. And that's going to be a D in the box. Put a letter in there, it tells me who batted and so on. So Shamsky's going to bat with second and third, 2 out. Now Shamsky is a 300 batter. Up next you have a 240 batter. Or is that that's a 340 batter in Cleon Jones. Wow. Okay, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. I haven't seen any numbers this high in this game. Okay, so we're going to basically pitch to Shamsky. See what happens. And Leonhard is the pitcher for Baltimore. Oh boy. And that's going to be an 11, which is a 0, which is a double column. So we're going to have at least 2 runs for sure in this. And that's going to be a 41, which is an 8. With second and third, that's not going to be modified since it's the second column. An 8 is going to be a single over first. Runners score. There's no slow runners, so they're both going to score. It's going to be a 2-run single, pinch hit single for Art Shamsky, putting the Mets ahead. They sure are the miracle Mets because that was unexpected. And the Mets go up 4-2 in the top of the 12th inning with that pinch hit single by Shamsky. And now we have Cleon Jones with Shamsky at second. He's a slow runner, so he's going to be playing it safe. 24 is going to be a strikeout. So that's going to be the third out of the inning. We're filling in with the yellow. The yellow was Leonhard's color as a reliever. And the Mets come up with 2 runs in the top of the second, thanks to a 2-run single, pinch hit single by Art Shamsky. And the Mets are going to have a new pitcher now. And we're going to have to see who that's going to be. Because back in '69, they didn't have real big bullpens. But it seems that pitchers were starters, could be starters and could be relievers, and were starters and relievers, and it seems that that's how they ran it back then. So Cal Kuntz is going to come in. Now, he's not much of a pitcher. He's a D pitcher. Didn't have a very good season with a 4.99 ERA. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to have to chance it here. So they're going to have a tremendous opportunity, the Orioles are, to come back. And they're going to start off with the utility infielder, a 297 hitter, Chico Salmon. He's going to bat. He's going to lead off the inning. It's the pitcher spot. So we're going to pinch hit for the pitcher. And it's going to be, excuse me, an E. E in the box. Who is it? Salmon for Leonhard. In the bottom of the 12th. Excuse me. All right. So there we go. 4-6, a strikeout. One away. And Davy Johnson. It's a 61-24 ground ball to Garrett. Garrett over to Clendenin at first, 2 away. And Mark Belanger, the shortstop. Mark Belanger's a ground ball. It's a to the pitcher. And Kuntz picks it up, throws over to first, and that's 3 up, 3 down, and that's the end of the game. The Mets pull it out in 12 with a 2-run single by pinch hit single by Art Shamsky. And the Mets win it 4-2. All right. Thanks for listening. Take care, guys.